I seriously hope you see this before they reach out. Like before the text comes through, before that call shows up on your screen, before they act on whatever they've been building up the courage to do. Because I need you to understand something really important before you respond. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because I've seen this pattern play out so many times, and there is a specific way this needs to go if you want the outcome you are secretly hoping for. Please do not respond until you watch this. I mean it. Whatever impulse you are feeling to immediately reply the second they reach out, I need you to sit with it. I need you to feel it. And then I need you to put your phone down and actually think about what's happening here. Can we talk frankly? For real? Because I've been watching this energy build for a while now, and there are some things you deserve to know. Here is the thing. I know you think you know what's about to happen. I know you've been replaying scenarios in your head. You have imagined the conversation so many times it almost feels like it's already happened. But what's actually coming is going to be different from what you expect. And I really mean that. There is a twist here that most people completely miss when they are in the middle of this. That twist is not what you think is. That twist isn't that they are going to reach out. You probably already sensed that. That twist isn't even that they are going to say something surprising. That twist is about you. It's about what happens in you when they do it. And I genuinely hope you see this before that moment arrives. I want you to really feel this with me. Let me take you into the reality of what's been happening beneath the surface, because I know there has been a lot of noise in your head. There has been a lot of wondering. There has been this constant question that just will not leave you alone. Do they think about me? Do they miss me? Do any of it even matter to them? And I'm here to tell you that your intuition hasn't been lying to you. You've been feeling something shift for a reason. And it's not just your imagination. It's not just wishful thinking. Something has genuinely been changing on their side. But here is the part that nobody talks about. The part that changes everything when you understand it. You see, the person you are thinking about, they have been having this internal war. And it's not the war you think. You probably assume they have it all together. You probably assume they are confident, sure of themselves, certain about what they want and what they don't want. And that's the first thing I need you to unravel for you. Because the truth is, they are more nervous than you right now, than you are. They are more uncertain. They are more afraid. And I know that sounds impossible. I know when you look at how they have acted, when you remember all the times they pulled away or seemed indifferent, it's really hard to believe that they could be the one who is scared. But that's exactly what's happening. Let me paint you a picture. of what's really going on inside them. There is this person who has been pretending to be okay. They have been putting on this performance, they've been acting strong, acting like they have moved on, acting like the connection didn't leave a mark on them. And it's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting to maintain that facade. And they have been maintaining it for a while, maybe weeks, maybe months, maybe years, even longer. And every single day it gets harder to keep up the act. Every single day something cracks a little more. And the cracks are happening at really inconvenient times. Like at night when they're alone and there is nothing to distract them anymore. That's when the feelings come rushing back. That's when they are lying awake, replaying everything, all the conversations, all the moments, all the things they wish they had done differently. And they keep going over it in their head like a movie that will not stop playing. Think about the last time they saw you. Think about what they said, what you said, what they should have said, and they are torturing themselves with all the ways things could have gone differently. That's not something they are showing anyone. That's not something they are posting about or talking about with their friends. That's the private midnight truth that nobody else sees. And here is what's really interesting about this whole situation. They didn't expect to still be feeling this way. They honestly thought they would get over it. They thought time would do its thing and eventually they'd wake up and you wouldn't be the first thought in their mind. But the opposite has happened. Time has made it worse. The feelings have gotten stronger. The memories have gotten sharper. The missing you has become more intense. And they are genuinely confused by this. They keep asking themselves why they can't just let go, why you keep showing up in their mind, why every time they think they finally moved on, something reminds them of you and it all comes floating back. You need to understand something about what it's like on their side right now. They keep having these moments, small moments that shouldn't matter but somehow hit them like a truck. They will hear a song that reminds them of you. They will pass by a place you went together. They will see something you would have laughed at or found interesting. And in those moments, the grief of the connection hits them all over again. It catches them completely off guard. Because they were not expecting to feel anything. They thought they were done with all of that. But the truth is, the connection wasn't resolved. It was just put on hold. And things that are unresolved have this way of demanding a resolution eventually. There is something else happening too. Something that's making all of this more urgent. There has been a recent shift. Something changed recently that pushed all of this to the surface. Maybe they saw something that triggered a memory. Maybe they had a dream about you. Maybe someone mentioned your name, or something about you came up. Or maybe they have been feeling like they are losing you in a way that's more permanent than they'd ever faced before. And that feeling of genuinely losing you has become the bigger trigger for everything they've been repressing for a long time. They believed you would always be there. They believed there would always be another opportunity, another chance, another moment. And that belief gave them a kind of false security. It allowed them to keep you at a distance because in their mind they could always come back whenever they wanted. But something has changed that sense of certainty. And when certainty goes away, it really shakes people. It shakes them deeply because suddenly they are facing the possibility that they might have lost you for real. That this time you might not be waiting. That you might have actually moved on. And that possibility is terrifying to them. Now let's talk about what happens next. Because I know that's what you're really here for. You want to know what's going to happen? You want to know if they're actually going to reach out. You want to know what you should do if they do. And I'm going to give you the real truth about all of it. But I need you to be ready for what I'm about to say. The communication is coming. I can feel it. It's been building for a while now. It's like watching a snowball roll down a hill. It starts small, almost invisible, but it gains momentum. It picks up speed. And by the time you see it coming, it's too big to stop. That's what's happening here. Something has been building on their side. They have been thinking about reaching out. They have been composing messages in their head. They have been imagining how the conversation might go. They have been trying to find the courage to actually do it. Of course, courage. And they are getting closer and closer to that moment where staying silent hurts more than speaking. But here is where the twist comes in. And this is the part I really need you to pay attention to. When they do reach out, it's not going to look the way you think. It's not going to be some big dramatic declaration. It's not going to be them pouring their heart out immediately. That's not how this works. People who have been suppressing their feelings for as long as they have don't just open up all at once. They test the waters first. They reach out tentatively, carefully. They want to see if you are even open to just talking before they let themselves be vulnerable. And if you respond the wrong way, if you respond too quickly or too eagerly or without any sense of your own value, they will retreat right back into that shell and you will be stuck in this circle all over again. Please, don't respond until you watch this. I'm serious. Whatever happens, however they reach out, whatever they say, do not reply immediately. Do not show them that you have been waiting for this. Do not show them that you have been thinking about them constantly. I know how hard that is. I know the impulse to respond as soon as you see their name on your screen is almost overwhelming. But the outcome of this whole situation depends on how you handle that first moment. Let me be really honest with you about something. When they reach out, they are going to be watching your response carefully. They are going to be reading into every single word. They are going to be looking for signs that you still care, signs that you are still available, signs that you have been waiting. And if you give them all of those signs immediately, they will feel relieved. Yes, for sure. But they will not feel changed. They will feel like they still have the same power they always had. And nothing will actually shift in the dynamic between you. What they need to feel is something different, something that actually gets their attention. They need to feel that you have genuinely changed. That you are not the same person who was waiting around for them. That you've grown, evolved, and shifted in ways that make them uncertain about where they stand. And uncertainty is exactly what you want to create. Because uncertainty is what changes things. Certainty allows people to stay the same. Certainty allows people to take you for granted. Certainty is the enemy of transformation. This is the part that most people mess up. Yeah. They think that when someone finally reaches out, the goal is to welcome them back with open arms. They think they need to show how much they've missed them. They think they need to make it easy for them. And I understand why. I really do. You've been waiting for this. You've been hoping for this. You've been waiting this connection back. But the way to actually get the connection back in a real meaningful way is to not make it easy. It's to show that access to you is not automatic. It's not guaranteed. It's not. It has to be earned. And I can feel you hesitating on this. I can feel you thinking, but what if I push them away? What if they get discouraged? What if they change their mind? And I need you to trust me on this. Someone who genuinely wants to be with you, I'll prove that. Who genuinely regrets losing you, who genuinely wants to repair things, will not be pushed away by you requiring them to show up differently. Let me stop here. If anything, it will make them want you more. It will make them respect you more. It will make them value you more. Because when you require people to meet your standards, they either step up or they step off. And either way you win. Because if they step off, they were not ready for what you're worth. And if they step up, you get the version of them that actually shows up properly. Let me take you deeper into this because there is something you haven't considered. The person who is about to reach out, they are actually terrified that you will not respond. Let me explain. That's the secret they are carrying. They are terrified that you have moved on, that you have forgotten them, that you don't care anymore. And that terror is what's been building and building and building until it's finally going to force them to act. But here's the thing. They need to sit in that terror for a moment. I'm not cruel, I swear. They need to actually feel what it's like to think they might have lost you. Because that's what's going to change their behavior. That's what's going to make them show up differently this time. You need to really understand what's happening on their side. They have been carrying regret. They have been carrying regret about not choosing you sooner, about pulling away, about letting fear control them, about listening to people who didn't have their best interest at heart, about hurting someone who genuinely cared about them. And that regret has been building like water behind a dam. Every memory of you adds pressure. Every reminder of what they lost adds pressure. Every lonely night adds pressure. And eventually that dam has to break. The pressure has to be released. And that release is what's going to manifest as communication. But here is the important part about that. If that dam breaks and you respond in a way that shows you have been waiting and hoping, and the pressure on their side will release too easily. They will feel this massive sense of relief. And relief is not the same thing as transformation. Relief allows them to go back to their old pattern. Relief allows them to take you for granted again, because they will think you are still the same person who was willing to accept whatever they gave you. You don't want to give them relief. You don't want. You want to give them a moment where they have to actually sit with what they did, what they lost, and what they need to do differently. So please don't respond until you watch this whole thing. I'm being so serious about this. I know you might be tempted to skip ahead or to just get the key points. But the nuance is what matters here. The details are what matters. This whole situation has so many layers, and I need you to feel every single one of them before anything happens. Because the way this unfolds depends on your mindset. It depends on how you show up. And I need you to show up as the person who knows their worth. Not just intellectually, not just logically, but deeply. In your gut, in your bones, in the place where you actually feel your value. Yeah. Let me tell you something really personal about this dynamic. When people lose someone who genuinely cared about them, they don't just miss that person, they miss the feeling of being truly seen. They miss the feeling of being accepted for who they really are. And they miss the version of themselves that only existed when they were with that person. And that's the part that's really eating them up. up inside. And they miss who they were with you. They miss the way they felt when they were around you. They miss the person you made them feel like they could be. And that's a really powerful thing to be the source of. Now, I want to talk about what it means to be prepared for this, because the title of this video says, Get Prepared for the Twist. And I've been building up to the twist this whole time. But I need you to be in the right headspace for it. The twist is not about them. The twist is about you. The twist is that you have been so focused on whether they are going to reach out, whether they still care, whether there's hope for this connection, that you have completely missed what's been happening inside you. You've been waiting for them to change. You've been waiting for them to realize what they lost. You've been waiting for them to finally show up the way you always wanted. And in that waiting, you've been putting your own transformation on hold. Yes. The twist is that the person you've become while waiting is not the person you want to be when they do reach out. You have built walls you didn't even know you were building. You've protected yourself in ways that have actually closed you off. You've been so afraid of being hurt again that you've stopped being open in the way that real connection requires. And if you don't address that before they reach out, you are going to sabotage the whole thing without even realizing it. Can we talk frankly? Because there is something I need to say that might be hard to hear. The way this has been working isn't working. The waiting, the hoping, the analyzing every little thing, the trying to figure out what they are thinking based on what they post or don't post, the checking your phone constantly, the rereading old messages, the remembering how it used to be. The whole thing has been keeping you in a holding pattern. And holding patterns are exhausting. They are emotionally and physically draining. And worst of all, they keep you from living your actual life. Yeah. And here is the thing about that. People are attracted to people who are fully alive. People are attracted to people who are in motion. People are attracted to people who are creating, building, evolving, becoming. And when you are stuck in this holding pattern, you are none of those things. You are just waiting. And waiting is not attractive. Waiting doesn't draw people toward you. Waiting makes you invisible in a way. Because the energy you are putting out is the energy of someone who is past. And past people don't magnetize anyone. That's uncomfortable truth. Now, if they reach out, and I do see that happening, you need to respond from a place of movement, from a place of growth, from a place of having become someone new since they left. You need to respond as someone who has been living, not someone who has been waiting. And that's going to change everything about how this plays out. that's going to feel that energy. They are going to sense that you're different. They're going to realize that the person they left isn't the person they are talking to anymore. And that's what's going to make them really pay attention. That's what's going to make them show up differently. Because they are going to realize that if they want access to this new version of you, they are going to have to be a new version of themselves. The person who is about to reach out has been watching you, by the way, just so you know. And they've been checking in probably more than you think, maybe through social media, maybe through mutual friends, maybe through just quietly paying attention to what they hear about you. And what they have been seeing is someone who looks strong, someone who looks like they are doing okay, someone who doesn't seem to be falling apart without them. That's important. And that has been both actually upsetting and attractive to them at the same time. It's upsetting because part of them wanted you to still be in a waiting position. But it's attractive because what they are seeing is someone who can survive without them. And survival without someone is the most attractive thing you can do, because it proves you are not dependent. It proves you're whole on your own. And whole people make the best partners. Let me be really real with you right now. You have been doing this whole thing alone for so long that you probably don't even realize how strong you've become. You've been carrying this weight. You've been navigating this uncertainty. You've been dealing with the confusion and the hurt and the disappointment, and you're still here. You're still standing. You're still open to love. You're still willing to believe in the possibility of something real. And that's not weakness. That's the opposite of weakness. That's the kind of strength that actually changes things. When I think about the person you're waiting to hear from, I think about how much they're missing by not being in your life. I think about all the things they're going to realize when they finally talk to you again. I think about the moment where they hear your voice and see your words, and they feel that familiar pull. But more than any of that, I think about you. I think about how you've been preparing for this moment without even knowing it. Every time you chose to heal instead of obsess. Every time you chose to grow instead of wallow. Every time you chose to get up and keep going even when you really didn't want to. You've been preparing for this. And now the moment is getting close. The energy is shifting. The movement is starting. The silence is about to break. And I need you to be ready in the way that matters most. Not ready to get back together, not ready to figure out the next step. Ready to stand in your truth. Ready to speak your mind. Ready to require what you deserve. Ready to know that whatever happens, you are going to be okay. Because you have already proven that you can be okay without them. I want to repeat, please don't respond until you watch this entire thing, because there is something I haven't said yet. Something that's really important for you to understand before anything happens. And it's this. The way they reach out might not be what you expect. It might not be the big gesture. It might not be the heartfelt message. It might be something small, something subtle. A question, a comment, a random thing they shared. And if you are not paying attention, you will miss it. You will think it's not significant. And that would be a mistake, because when someone has been suppressing their feelings, when they have been holding back for so long, the first step toward reaching out is almost always small. It's testing, it's cautious, it's seeing if you are open, and how you respond to that small opening is everything. If you respond with too much enthusiasm, you close them down because they feel like they don't have to work for it. If you respond with too much distance, you close them down because they feel rejected. But if you respond with warmth and presence and self-possession, you open the door for something real to happen, something that actually has the potential to be different this time. What I want for you is to move through this with intention, with purpose, with awareness of everything that's happening on both sides. Because you have been the one carrying this hope. You have been the one holding space for the possibility of reconciliation. You've been the one who hasn't given up, and that's beautiful. But it's also heavy. And you deserve to set that weight down, not by giving up on the connection, but by releasing the need for it to be the certain way, by trusting that whatever happens is what's meant to happen, but by knowing that you've done your part, you've been open, you've been willing, you've been hoping. Now it's their turn. I hope you see this before they reach out. I really do. Because these words are for you in this exact moment. They are for the version of you who is about to get that message. They are for the version of you who is about to feel that rush of emotion when you see their name on your screen. They are for the version of you who wants so badly to do this right. And you can do it right. You absolutely can. You just need to remember who you are. Remember what you have been through. Remember how far you've come. And move from that place. Move from the place of strength, from the place of knowing, from the place of being someone who can walk through anything and still be standing on the other side. This whole thing has been testing you. This whole experience has been refining you. This whole journey has been preparing you for something. And maybe something is a reconciliation. Maybe it's a closure that gives you peace. Maybe it's just the understanding that you are going to be okay no matter what happens. But whatever it is, you are ready for it. You are ready for the communication that's coming. You are ready for the conversation that's building. You are ready for the moment when the silence finally breaks. And when that moment comes, you are going to remember everything I've said here. I hope you do that. You're going to remember the pause. You are going to remember to not respond immediately. You are going to remember to come from a place of strength, not desperation. You are going to handle it differently than you would have before, because you've changed. You have grown. You've become someone who knows better, someone who does better, someone who insists on being treated with the respect you deserve. I hope you will remember that. I want you to feel this. The person you are waiting to hear from is not the same person you are going to be talking to. And you are not the same person they left. Both of you have been through things. Both of you have had time to reflect. Both of you have had opportunities to grow. And that means this conversation is going to be different. It's going to be between two different people. People who have learned things, people who have perspective, people who might all actually be ready for something real this time. But you need to be prepared for all of it. Not just the good outcome, not just the outcome where everything works out beautifully. You need to be prepared for the outcome where they reach out and it's not what you want. You need to be prepared for the outcome where they say the wrong thing, where they haven't changed as much as you hoped, where they are still not ready. Because knowing what you will do in that situation is just as important as knowing what you will do if everything goes right. And last thing, and I think you already know. I think you already know what you need. I think you already know what you deserve. I think you already know what you're not willing to accept anymore. That's what all of this waiting and hoping and hurting has taught you. That's the gift, the real gift of everything you've been through. You know now. You know what matters. You know what's real. You know what you need from any relationship that's going to work. The twist is that you have been waiting for them to reach out. But what you've actually been waiting for is to find out who you are when they do. And that person, the person who handles this with grace and strength and self-knowledge, that's who I see. That's who you've become. And that's who's going to walk through whatever comes next. So when they reach out, and they will, you are going to be ready. Not because you planned everything. Not because you have the perfect response prepared. But because you know who you are. And that knowledge changes everything. It changes how you speak. It changes how you listen. It changes how you move through the conversation, and most importantly, it changes what you are willing to accept. I seriously hope you see this before they reach out. Because once that moment happens, once you're in it, you need to remember. You need to remember what's true about you. You need to remember what you've survived. You need to remember the strength that got you here. And you need to trust, really trust, that whatever happens, you are going to be okay. Because you've already proven that to yourself. You've already walked through the hardest part. The waiting, the uncertainty, the not knowing. And you are still here. You are still whole. You are still capable of love. You are still hopeful. That doesn't go away just because the communication finally comes. So get ready. Get ready for what's coming. Get ready for the moment when everything shifts. And remember that the most important part of this whole thing is not what they say. It's who you are when you hear it. And who you are is someone who deserves to be chosen. Someone who deserves to be pursued. Someone who deserves to be loved in the way they have always wanted. And someone who will not settle for anything less than that. That's who you are. That's who you've become. And that's who is about to have this conversation. So please do not respond until you've really let this sink in. Until you felt it in your body, until you know without any doubt that you are going to handle this differently. Because you are. And the difference is going to change everything. I promise you that. The twist. The real twist is that you were the one who was going to change all along. And that change was going to make this whole thing work differently. For better or for worse. But for real, for honest. For the kind of connection that actually has a chance. You've got this. You really do. Yeah, you've been through so much. And you are still standing, still hoping, still believing. And that's going to be what makes the difference. That's going to be what draws them in and makes them show up the way they should have all along. And that's going to be what creates something real this time. So, trust yourself. Trust what you've learned. Trust the strength that's been building in you all this time. And get ready for what's coming.